Rinko watched Azusa transform right in front of her, and the craziest part is Azusa, who wanted to save humans, now ready to destroy them. And right at that moment, Rinko realized their next fight might not be practice anymore. It might be life or death. We're going to dig into how Rinko tried to chase Azusa, who had completely changed, even learning from her worst enemies. If you like stories about friendships turning into tragedy, hit subscribe now, because this isn't just a samurai duel. It all starts with a serious match between Rinko and Azusa back in 2087, watched by other Ito-Ryo swordsmen. Rinko uses that hard style that overwhelms with a barrage, while Azusa uses a soft style that waits for an opening. Their fight ends in a draw, but Rinko admits Azusa is the winner, knowing true strength isn't just about winning. Azusa says they have duties as Taimanin, Onmyoji, and humans, which means they can't fight however they want. And when Azusa says the word human, her voice gets heavy, like she's carrying a burden all by herself. Azusa says she has a mission, they thank each other, and she walks away, leaving Rinko completely confused. Rinko starts wondering if they'll be enemies next time, and that question seriously haunts her thoughts. Yukikaze notices Rinko spacing out and immediately knows Rinko is the type to keep everything bottled up. Koro even says she's worried, because when Rinko goes quiet like that, something is definitely wrong. Unable to resist her curiosity, Rinko follows Azusa in secret and watches her eliminate Task Force G members. Rinko tracks Azusa all the way to a remote island, which turns out to be Marjana's abandoned hideout. Azusa enters a brain flare altar and messes with strange technology, while Rinko watches from the shadows. The base's auto defenses still see Azusa as human, so they attack, but she easily destroys the Pazuzu and Sakila units. When they reach the high-tech shrine, Rinko finally steps out to confront Azusa about what she's really doing. She asks directly what Azusa is up to, because she saw those red eyes and mechanical changes on her body. Azusa tries to explain what happened in the ruins months ago, but they get interrupted by Marjana's servant, Suzuka. Azusa sees Suzuka and immediately says, "We can't win right now," and tells Rinko to buy her some time. Azusa grabs the weird machine next to her, and suddenly her body gets covered in a bright, blinding light. Rinko is forced to fight Suzuka alone, and she only manages to make a tiny dent in Suzuka's barrier while getting hurt. Luckily, Suzuka doesn't want to kill Rinko. She just holds back while waiting for Azusa to come out. When the light fades, Azusa steps out with a completely new form that shocks Suzuka to her core. Azusa has successfully transcended the limits of human and machine, becoming something entirely new. With her new power, Azusa easily breaks through Suzuka's shield and defeats her without breaking a sweat. Her speed even surprises Rinko, because it now rivals the legendary Taimanin Igawa Asagi. Azusa lets Suzuka go as thanks for not killing Rinko, and even heals Rinko's wounds before leaving. After that, Azusa sets off for her true revenge, fully willing to become an enemy of all mankind. Since that day, Rinko often stares into the distance, thinking about how to catch up to Azusa. She's also afraid that she herself might be blind in her pursuit of power, not realizing she's lost her way. Igawa Asagi sees Rinko moping and orders her to take a short vacation at the beach with Kotaro and Kaede. Even though they're on vacation, Rinko's mind just can't let go of Azusa and their uncertain future. During their break, UFS agent Sally Roberts asks the Taimanin for help with a rampaging beast called Enbar. Enbar was experimented on by First and has now escaped along with other test subjects. The Taimanin and their demon allies try to subdue Enbar, but the beast is too strong to calm down. Rinko senses a foreign soul inside Enbar, a Taimanin swordsman's spirit that's driving the beast insane. Rinko bravely challenges Enbar to a one-on-one duel, hoping to soothe the beast through swordplay. When the swordsman's skills awaken inside Enbar, the beast calms down, and they speak through their blades. Rinko defeats Enbar, and the trapped swordsman's soul finally finds peace and rest. After the fight, Rinko actually thanks Enbar, because that duel helped clear her own troubled mind. Rinko realizes she needs more power to reach Azusa, so she seeks help from Azusa's grandfather, Genan. During a training duel, Rinko impresses Genan with her strength, even though she can't land a hit on him. Genan tells her to visit his son Sakyo in the UFS to learn a technique that might help her fight Azusa. He also warns her that the technique might not suit an Ito-Ryo user and mentions Kaede's mysterious death. Rinko agrees to learn it and asks Yukikaze to join her mission because she needs a reliable friend. Rinko also brings Koro along after seeing her mock battle with Yukikaze, thinking she'd be useful. They combine this personal mission with a quest from Mirabelle Bell, who wants to test her troops against Taimanin. They meet Mirabelle Bell at UFS Fort Clark, then head to the nearby town of Allenton to find Sakyo. Rinko hopes Sakyo can teach her new techniques and reveal the truth about Kaede's death to save Azusa. Inside the holographic training room, they fight Mirabelle Bell's entire force, and Yukikaze uses new moves. Rinko also pulls out her signature moves, and they manage to defeat the whole army and exoskeletons. After the battle, they celebrate until some soldiers notice Yukikaze's resemblance to a Japanese idol. They take a long trip to Allenton and arrive at a Zero Nations base, which is actually a nomad front. They're led inside by Makishima Niemon, and strangely, they're treated like honored guests. Thanks to Koro's ability, they get to view Sakyo's memories and learn the whole truth about Nomad. They see how Edwin Black secretly dated Shinganji Kaide in this timeline and got into a relationship. Then, they witness Kaide's death at Tutate's hands while she was pregnant with Black's second child. They also learn Kaide's body was taken, and they see Kaide's brutal techniques in action. After seeing all those memories, Rinko has to make a huge decision. Is trusting Azusa without the full truth worth the risk? Will Rinko keep trying to save Azusa, or will she become her enemy in their next fight? This choice will decide both their fates, and there's no turning back once Rinko knows all this. Rinko understands this isn't just about physical strength, but about trust and accepting harsh reality. She has to choose between chasing Azusa with all its risks, or backing off and living with regret forever. And honestly, the most gut-wrenching part is Azusa isn't even a typical villain, she's a broken hero. The data shows Rinko's fear of being blind to her own flaws is way more interesting than any boss fight. But the real twist here? Sakyo's memories prove Kaide wasn't just a victim, she made her own choices too. That detail alone flips the whole narrative on its head because it humanizes the so-called enemies. So here we are, watching Rinko struggle not with a monster, but with a friend she can't reach. She knows confronting Azusa directly won't work, so she learns from the shadows to close the gap. Yet every step she takes to get stronger just reminds her of what she might have to sacrifice. It's like the game is asking if saving a friend is worth destroying the entire world order. The climax isn't the fight with Suzuka or in Bar, it's that quiet moment in Allenton watching Kaide's memories. Because in that hologram, Rinko realizes Azusa's path might actually make sense from a certain angle. And that's the scariest part of this whole damn story, when the villain's logic starts looking reasonable. Rinko's journey shifted from chasing power to questioning the very foundation of her own beliefs. The beach trip, the N-bar duel, the training with Ganan, they all built towards this one crossroads. Now she's standing at a fork in the road, and the map is written in a language she can barely read. Will she gamble everything on a friend who might already be gone, or walk away to protect the rest? Akiyama Rinko's story forces us to ask whether loyalty survives when the other person changes beyond recognition. And perhaps that's the real tragedy, not the battles lost, but the connections we fail to maintain. This tale of Rinko and Azusa reminds us that the line between ally and enemy is often just a sheet of paper. In the end, we all have to decide what we're fighting for in a world full of shifting loyalties. If you don't want to miss the next chapter of this crazy story, smash that subscribe button right now.